Hello dreamers, and welcome to our video on North Node in the second house. Now before we begin, let's talk about how to determine the house of your North Node in your natal chart. So first, to determine which house your North Node falls in, you're going to need to generate your natal chart, and I will link below a place where you can do that. In order to know the houses of your chart, you really do need to know your exact time of birth, or nearly your exact time of birth. And once you generate that chart using your time of birth, you want to think of the chart as almost like a pizza pie. Look for the slice that has the little number 2 in the center, and then if your North Node falls in the second house, you'll see a little symbol in that pie slice number 2 that looks like an upside down horseshoe, and that's your North Node. So you want to look for that upside down horseshoe and see which pizza pie slice it falls in, and that's the house of your North Node. Okay, so what does it mean if your North Node falls in the second house? Well, what this means is that the area of your life that you're working on for your destiny in this lifetime is the second house areas, which indicates your earned income, your sense of value as a person, your compensation that you receive for your value, your investments, and the things that you own and that you can touch with your hands and hold with your hands. So if you have your North Node in the second house, it means that more than likely you're coming from a past life where your success was dependent on merging with another person. Let's say in your past life you might have had a parent who died when you were really young, and that parent may have left you a ton of money in their inheritance, and in that lifetime you may not have had to work. You may have been independently wealthy because of the money that was left to you, and then therefore in this lifetime it becomes important for you to learn to sort of fend for yourself, especially financially, for you to learn to put in the work to build wealth for yourself. So people with the North Node in the second house, they're learning about what it feels like to succeed on their own and to have value on their own. And this can be pretty difficult because for a North Node in the second house, they're going to feel a lot more security if they merge with others. They're going to feel a lot more secure, marrying somebody or being in a relationship with somebody else who is financially secure. They're going to want to combine their resources with somebody else, and that's actually not the path if you have your North Node in the second house. North Node in the second house also relates to North Node in Taurus. Although it's not exactly the same. The second house is ruled by Taurus. So somebody with their North Node in the second house is going to be working on a lot of these Taurus type of themes. Now, one of the things that is very important if your North Node falls in the second house is to realize that in this lifetime, you are actually here to focus on the material world. It's only after you succeed materially that you then will be permitted to spend time on your spiritual life or your metaphysical life or those types of things. Now, I know that most people who watch my videos, they're here because they want to learn about like twin flames or soul connections or metaphysics, and if you are here for those reasons and you really want that twin flame, you really want to reunite with your soulmate, you really want that amazing shared partnership, you've got to first earn the money. You've got to first find your value within yourself before you're going to open up that space to achieve union. And that's really, 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 really super important for somebody who has their North Node in the second house. Now, if you have your North Node in the second house and you are under the age of 30, then you may be permitted to focus on more Scorpio types of things. If you're under the age of 30 and maybe you're just very interested in romantic sexual connections or spiritual connections, you might get away with focusing on those things, with focusing on the unseen world, with digging for truths, and focusing on the non-material world when you're under the age of 30. But when it comes to astrology, our North Node is said to kick in strongly about the age of 30. 30. So once you are about 30, you're going to find that if you focus on those things, if you focus on just that love, or you try to find that partner who's wealthy so that you can achieve wealth through that person, you're going to have a lot of trouble. You're going to get a lot of doors slammed in your face and things like that, because you are here to establish wealth for yourself. Now, when I say establish wealth for yourself, for North Node in the second house, I do mean establish wealth for yourself in the very literal sense, in which I mean, you know, having that bank account. And by the way, if you have your North Node in the second house, you want to have a bank account, checking account, savings account, and if you want like really good mojo, then you also want to have, you know, other types of investments as well. If you want really good mojo, North Node in the second house, real estate investments, things like that, where your assets are definitely wrapped up in objects that are very, very valuable, tangible, stuff like that. Okay, so that's one component of North Node in the second house, is that building of wealth for yourself. I'm going to talk more in a moment about what that for yourself part means, but for now I want to talk about what does wealth mean, okay? Because wealth in one sense is money, but for North Node in the second house, it's about building wealth for yourself. It's also about wealth in terms of your value as a person. So North Node in the second house, you need to know what are your gifts and talents and what are they worth, okay? So North Node in the second house could tend to not necessarily understand the worth of what their talents are. So let's say that somebody with their North Node in the second house, they may have a talent for something very spiritual because they're going to be bringing in a high degree of 8th house energy, which is metaphysical, occult themes. So let's say that somebody with their North Node in the second house, maybe they're an amazing tarot reader, and from the time that they are young, they read tarot for all their friends, and the readings are accurate, and it just helps people's lives so much to transform. But the North Node in the second house person just gives that away for free because they haven't learned yet about wealth and the value of themselves as an individual. North Node in the second house needs to get paid for their talents and gifts, okay? It's just not even a question. If you do not give things away for free. If you have your North Node in the second house, now I'm not saying become a stingy person or become a cold-hearted person, but I'm saying if you are a North Node in the second house, your destiny is to receive an income for your gifts and talents. So if you have North Node in the second house and you're a painter, you've got to do some market research and figure out, okay, what do paintings that are similar to yours, what do they sell for? What do tarot readings similar to yours sell for? And start to actually get money for those talents that you have. Or if not money, then to get something else of material significance, okay? A physical object, something of value, something that you can hold in your hand. Second house is what we hold in our hands, what we have, what we possess. So you should be getting something for that, not just an energy exchange, and my God, not sex, okay? Not sex or sexual favors. So depending on how the energy manifests, somebody with North Node in the second house, and that means their South Node's in the 8th house, they could find themselves very interested or focused on sexual connections, and that is very off path for somebody who has their North Node in the second house. Sexual energy as a form of currency is no longer going to fly, okay? That is not. Like somebody with their North Node in the second house, they could, they could be somebody who might sleep with somebody who has something that they want and then consider that a fair exchange. And I don't mean that as a criticism at all, but what I mean is that probably worked for you in your past life, and that is not going to work for you in this lifetime. It's going to lead to bad things, lots of bad things, lots and lots of bad things. So you want to think of currencies as being material things only. No such thing as having an exchange. Now, I want to say this is for North Node in the second house. So if you have your North Node somewhere else in your chart, maybe you can have an exchange that's energy only. But if you have your North Node in the second house, then the exchange needs to be something physical, okay? The exchange is, I made you a painting, and in return, you're gonna give me $150, okay? Or I made you a painting and in return, you are going to give me food. You're going to buy me a really, really nice dinner, okay? So second house, Taurus, it also has to do with food and luxury, like luxuries of the body and the senses. So someone with North Node in the second house, it may be a good idea for that person to actually learn to like enjoy their food and things like that. I know somebody who has this placement and they eat so fast, like just like demolish food. But North Node in the second house is about being present in the material world, okay? And enjoying the sensuality around us. It's like you need to go out into the forest and you touch the pine cones and the leaves and hold things in your hands and look at the inherent value of things that are material. You've got to be in this physical world. Now, I think this is actually a good placement because being in the physical world and enjoying the pleasures of the physical world, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to taste good food, to smell good things, to enjoy sounds as well, to use our senses in that way. North Node in the second house should not make a habit of using a credit card. North Node in the second house should not be taking out loans and debts. And I know that sounds like a lot, especially in this society where our monetary structure is completely based on credit. But for somebody with North Node in the second house, any sort of credit, any sort of loan is going to be bad karma. Even if that loan is like from your parents and you're just saying, oh, I don't have enough money to pay my rent, can you give me the money? That's not on path for North Node in the second house. It's on path to get a job and earn your own money and take care of yourself. And that's what's going to create, like, I hate to use the word karma, but that's what's going to create good karma for you, is providing for yourself. And that's what's going to make you feel confident in yourself. Because ultimately, if you're just getting handouts from other people all the time, or you're living off of credit and building debt, you're going to have that feeling of just like insecurity with you all the time. So North Node in the second house, live within your means. Okay, so let's talk about how you're going to earn money with your North Node in the second house. You want to look at a couple things. So one is you want to look at the sign of your North Node to know what sort of things are going to bring you money. And then you want to follow what's indicated in terms of professions by the sign of your North Node, okay? Other things that you want to look for, though, are any other planets that are in the second house, particularly if your North Node is in the second house, but there's another planet that comes before it. Then that's the planet that you would want to look to. That's going to tell you how you're going to earn your money or how you're going to build your wealth. Okay, so let's say that you have your North Node in the second house and you also have Venus in the second house. Then you would earn your money by doing something that is Venus-like, okay? So maybe you would earn your money by being a relationship counselor, for example, or so many other things that are ruled by Venus. If you have, let's say you have your North Node in the second house and you also have Mercury there, then that could mean that you're going to be able to earn your money through speaking, writing, or sharing ideas. And then what energy should you bring to your speaking, writing, and sharing ideas? That's going to be dictated by the sign of your Mercury and the sign of your North Node. So if you had Mercury there in the second house, let's say it's in Aries, okay? And you have Mercury and Aries there in the second house and you have your North Node, that's telling you you're going to speak, write, and share your ideas for your earned income, and you're going to do it in an Aries way with just total confidence and just putting yourself out there, not caring what other people think. Very bold, okay? So that's the type of thing that you want to look for your second house. You also want to look at what is the planetary ruler of your second house. Now, I know that this is all a little bit more complex. If you have your North Node in the second house, you can work with an astrologer to figure these things out, or just do a little bit of research. In fact, if you have your North Node in the second house, you probably have experience as an astrologer in another lifetime, so you'll probably be able to get this. But yeah, you want to look at the ruler of your second house, and that will tell you how you can earn money as well. Know that if you put in the hard work, then you are destined to succeed. And this is very good because this North Node that we have in the second house, it may mean that we are destined to achieve wealth. by the end of our lifetime and in our later years. And if you work really hard in your younger years, even in your early years, you can achieve wealth. You're literally here for that purpose, and to do it on your own and to feel the fulfillment that comes from knowing that you did that it was your skills, it was your values, it was your talents that gave you that wealth, and that's going to be very fulfilling. So if you have North Node in the second house, you may be somebody who really likes to share your money, okay, just depending on how this placement is aspected. It's important to know if you have North Node in the second house, you may love money sharing. You may really love when other people share their money with you and you share your money with others, but that again that's bad karma, okay? So if you have your North Node in the second house, you know, it may be a good idea, even if you're married, not to combine all of your assets with your partner. Maybe you do have a shared bank account, but you also want to keep one for yourself. You want to keep one that's just you on the side. And if you have North Node in the second house and you don't have enough money to pay your rent, then don't loan your friend money or don't pay for their dinner, okay, at a restaurant or whatever. You just want to make sure that you're very solid financially on your own before you give money to others. It may be hard for you to say no to lending money to others, but you can just say, guess what? I found out that my North Node is in the second house and it's bad karma for me. Maya Joy KahNah told me it's bad karma to give you money, okay? Whatever you have to say, but don't give your money away to others just because you feel for them or because you feel a soul connection to them. Okay. 2 more things that I want to say. One is that love is greater than sex. This is super important for you to know if your North Node's in the second house. That you may even be, depending on what kind of karma that you have, you could maybe find yourself in a situation where the person that you really love, they will maybe refuse to have sex with you right away or something like that, because you're here to learn about love. You're here to learn about second house, Taurus, Venus, true love, right? And not about Scorpio, not about whatever that might be, okay? Not about Scorpio. You're not here to learn about manipulation. You're not here to learn about even like sacred sexuality, but you're here to learn about how to be present in your body. So I think for somebody with North Node in the second house, it may be a good idea to learn about Tantra, for example, and about really being embodied, like really being embodied and being present in our body and working with energy slowly building sexual energy. Second house likes patience. It likes things that go a little bit slower rather than just rushing into some sort of intense dynamic, which is probably what you would have done in a past life. And the final thing that I want to say is that you are here in this lifetime to move out of the darkness and into the light, out of the darkness and into the light. You may have amazing gifts in the dark arts, okay? Or you may have really focused on that in a past life, and you may really like the shadow aspects. You may have aspects of your being that are kind of, I don't know, maybe that are kind of like manipulative or kind of dark, or you may be drawn to like dark sexual practices, or I'm just not even sure what it would even be, because I don't have any 8th house or Scorpio in my chart, okay? But like you might be drawn to the darkness. You might really be drawn to that and just want to spend all your time just digging up what's there in the shadows and being that psychologist or being that detective or being whatever, just stirring up the darkness. I don't know, guys. You tell me, what is this darkness? Like, what is this darkness that you guys like? What is your darkness? What is your favorite form of darkness, okay? But you are here to live in the light, okay? Let's make it literally, okay? So maybe your North Node is in the second house. Maybe you love night, okay? It's just like, it's dark outside and I just come alive, and I love going out at night, and I love going to the bar, and I love partying, and I love whatever that happens under the moonlight, okay? That's not good karma for you to be doing that, okay? So you're here, North Node in the second house, you're here to live in the light of day. You know, you're here to wake up early in the morning, and then you should connect with your body, meditate a little bit, maybe give yourself an oil massage or something like that. That can be very good in Ayurvedic medicine, right? So you do that, connect with your body, make yourself a beautiful breakfast, right? Maybe even from foods that you got at the farmer's market, or even foods that you grew yourself. Make yourself a delicious meal. Eat that meal very slowly, and then start working, using your gifts, collect the money, get the fair payment for your gifts, and then at the end of the day, keep a small amount to spend and put the rest in the bank and feel really confident in the value that you have built for yourself. And then if you do all of that really good, and you spend that day living in the light of day, then at night, maybe like right before you go to bed at sunset time, you can have some Scorpio time. You can have some 8th house craziness, but then go to bed and then spend most of your time focusing on the 2nd house and most of your time focusing on Taurus. And if you have your North Node in the 2nd house, this might sound like too much for you, or you may not want to do this. But I'm just saying, this is the path. This is your path to your destiny, and this is how you can resolve any sort of past life karmas or things like that, and just have, you know, wonderful success and fulfillment. And this is how you can get that feeling of security that you're seeking for, and that feeling of strength and beauty within yourself that you're looking for. And so I just really, really hope all of you with your North Node in the 2nd house, I just super hope that you can follow this path into the light and into your value and into your wealth, because you will just feel so much better if you do. So, okay, North Node in the 2nd house, yay for you, okay? Thank you so much for watching, especially if you stuck it all the way through to the end. It has been a pleasure to bring you this video, and I hope that you have an amazing day, and I hope that you have an amazing life filled with all sorts of sense of self-worth and value and wealth of all kinds. And yeah, God bless you, and God bless everyone. Thank you for watching, and namaste. Bye.